Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of We Can Eat Chelsea. People are fuming in the chat. So I said, listen, let's park the World Cup final loss for a second and we'll bring it into the live because people are fuming. I'm only just clocking now how much listen, we all know a World Cup final is going to mean a lot, regardless if whoever loses in whatever sport. But it looks like people are not eating. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like people are, it's a madness right now. But Miz, first of all, before we get into it, how you doing, brother? Talk to me. How you feeling?
Good, man. The international break was, of course, boring. I'm always sleepy. I can't be bothered doing anything. I'm just sleepy. So I can't wait for football to come back, man. So that the brain cells can wake up again and we can be upbeat again. And yeah, man, I can't wait for this weekend to come along, bro. Good to see you guys, man. Really miss you guys as well, honestly.
Yeah, man. Listen, that international break is killing me, bro. It's good to be back because Younes, I can't lie to you. I don't know how you do it, bro. You're still consistent in international. In the international, I go international. I don't know how you do
it. Bro, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
It's like, yo, I'm keeping up to date.
No, I feel like in the internationals, I've got to grind harder because then I'm like, I can't just leave and just everyone's just like for 2 weeks just chilling, waiting to die. Like, because that's how I feel like when I'm having to go through the internationals. I'm like, I'm gonna try and provide something and occupy myself in the meantime because it's painful. Thankfully, we've not got internationals for the next 4 months now, so it's just club football all the way until March, and I'm so happy at that. Bloody hell, Gareth Southgate, England just. Yeah, get out of it.
Wow.
Get out of it.
Did you guys draw against North Macedonia or something? I saw a mad result the other day. I don't know whether was that true? Is that fake?
And the funny thing is, after that game, Gareth Southgate says that they controlled the game.
We played really well. I'm like, what? We played really well. This is a guy that ended up somehow taking us to a World Cup semi-final, which we were discussing before we went live, a Euros final, and a 1-1 draw against North Macedonia is us playing well. This guy's lost his marbles completely.
So that scoreline was true. That was true.
Yeah.
I thought I was dreaming or something. I'm like, what is this?
I wish I could lie, but no, it's true. And we were losing 1-0.
But are they a good team,
they
North
were,
Macedonia?
Yeah. No, they're
are they
not.
a good team?
No. I mean, look, on the occasion, I mean, they had one fantastic game in their history, which is when they beat Italy, and that caused shockwaves. That was it.
Hey,
that's all they've ever done.
Macedonia beat Germany not that long ago. I remember.
Germany are not great at the moment.
Oh, but Germany are in the mud. Germany are like us under Potter.
Yeah. So Nagelsmann, hold that.
They got Havertz playing left back. I mean, it's a madness.
I noticed, bro. Do you know what? Maybe he is a left back.
Bro, so you see Nagelsmann? You see Nagelsmann? I tell you, people, a manager will always do something that you may not understand or like. Imagine if he came to Chelsea and he was playing if he was playing Cole Palmer at left back. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
It's crazy. Crazy.
We probably still have Kai Havertz right now. He'd be playing left back, like rotating with Chilwell.
I mean, they're both German. He might have taken a shine to him. Might not have got rid of Kai Havertz. Who knows? This is what people don't think about. They don't think. Alternative universe. We may still have Havertz under Nagelsmann. Imagine that. But Bubba, brother, you're so sad.
Matisse, you bad boy.
Yeah, man, still trying to get over that loss. Yeah, I mean, this is what life and sports is all about, isn't it? When you think things are going your way and for sure you're going to win something big this time, it does not really pan out that way. So yeah, it was a dark day for us as a nation. This past Sunday, when we thought that we'll be world champions in cricket after 12 years. It was at our home. We were the best team throughout the tournament, had won 10 games on the trot, had beaten Australia in the league game, and that too one-sided. But yeah, Mr. Travis Head and Pat Cummins, the Australian captain, had some other ideas that day. But it is what it is. And yeah, man, still trying to get over it. And feels like a breakup has just gone down, you know, like how you keep on thinking about that. You cannot focus on anything else. So this is what's going down right now.
It's mad. It's mad. Well, hopefully Chelsea.
Look at Mids up there,
it.
just like, yeah, I got to support 2 countries and one of them won it. You know, fantastic.
That is such a luxury, man. That is such a luxury.
It's what people don't understand. This is why we couldn't go live. It's Drogbaba and Miz was scrapping back here. You know what I mean? Miz lost his beard.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I lost my beard in celebration. Now, do you know what? It's mad, man. Like, you have one extreme, and we actually, Baba and I, we did a couple of shows during the Cricket World Cup, and I told him all along that this Indian team is the clear-cut favorite all throughout the World Cup. There's one team you got to be scared about, and that's Australia. They can do madness because they have the heritage. Someone actually commented really nicely the other day, I saw in social media, Australia is literally the Real Madrid in Champions League. Like, that's Australia in Cricket World Cup. They're the Real Madrid of, cricket. And the day when Australia won, the next day I went to office, and then, you see people in the streets, you see people in the subway and everything. Oh, it's just business as usual. They're like, the 6th World Cup.
No, that's outrageous.
It's just another win. I mean, against the odds, sure, no problems against India, against the odds. But that's what we do. That's what Australia does.
No, that's
and
mad.
You don't move like Real Madrid.
I'm
That's
like,
wild.
do you know what? And it gave me a flashback, like growing up in Australia. Like, kids are built different here, man. Like, honestly, kids are built different here. They're just, at the age of like 3, they're fighting with sharks. At the age of 5, they're grabbing snakes and they're going playing with them. Like, they're not normal
12
here.
rounds of a kangaroo. Like,
bro, they are not normal here.
And it was the polar opposite in our country. Like, when you went out on the Monday morning, you could see the despair, the angst, the sadness on each and everyone in one's face. Like, every individual, it was like going through something. My friends were calling me, bro, we have to meet up in the evening. We have to discuss about this game. And I was like, no, man, I don't want to talk about it. Seriously, like, we have to do something.
They wanted therapy, basically.
They wanted a match. They wanted a match review, and Baba said, "Not today, not today."
I bet the offices in India on that Monday morning were horrible. The bosses were like, "You're all fired. Screw all of you. Get out."
And I'm fired as well. You're fired. I'm fired.
I resign.
You could really sense that when you're driving on the road, if you like cut a vehicle a little aggressively, there would be a matter of road rage because everyone's so angry, everyone's so frustrated. So you have to be driving very carefully the Monday morning. But all of that was happening. But yeah, man, as I just told you, trying to move on.
Yeah, let's move on because I don't want to send Bubba into a spiral of depression over this. So let's talk about Chelsea because Nkunku is back. Nkunku is back. And Fofana has taken a picture of him being back, I think. We still don't know where Lavia is, I think. I don't know where Chukwuemeka is. But, we're getting there. People are starting to return. And, they're not going to start against Newcastle, I'm sure, especially in Nkunku. Maybe a Badia Shield will start, I don't know. Because we could do some aerial dominance in that game. But it's looking good, Miz. Like, players are starting to come back. There's a feeling again. I mean, do you know what? I said it before. You have to be careful with Chelsea because whenever we get excited, something goes wrong. So I'm trying to just slowly ease into the excitement. I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself. But I am looking forward to the games coming up. I do think we can win. And I said this before and I got absolutely crucified for the 7 out of 7. But I do think we can win against Newcastle. I do think we can beat Brighton. I do think we can beat Man United. Whether we'll beat all of those teams is another question, but we should be minimum aiming for 7 points out of 9, I think, being unbeaten in that run and winning most of those games. How do you feel about these? Because this is the last stretch of the difficult period. I mean, this period has been more fun than the other period of easy fixtures, really.
Nah, man, I'm excited, man. No more feeling sad, no more feeling negative or anything like that. I'm buzzing to go. Obviously, I know that Nkunku is not going to be featuring from the get-go. He might come off the bench. Whatever the case is, it's just great to have him back to a certain degree. Hopefully he's going to be in the squad maybe in the bench. He may not even be used, but just his presence in the bench, I think, will send shockwaves to the entire Premier League that we've got. Literally, like new signing. He is a new signing. He's actually a new signing that we've not been able to use. So it'll be great to have him back. And I think moving forward, as you said, Chukwuemeka slowly will come back. Lavia will come back. Buddy Shield should be online to start very soon. So. Yeah, bro, I'm upbeat. I'm not going into any match saying, I'm a little bit nervous, this, that, the other. Nah, man, we go to Newcastle, we only go look for 3 points. I'm not looking for anything else. I'm sorry. Do you know what I mean? Draw will be a disappointment for me. I'll put it out there straight up. I am going with the mindset that Chelsea are preparing for 3 points all this week. Pochettino's got the entire group. They've seen Newcastle. They know where Newcastle's squad's out with all the injuries. They're preparing a game plan to get 3 points at St. James's Park after the 90 minutes. All you can eat, Chelsea. We celebrate and move on to the next one after that. So, yeah, Brighton, I'm not looking too far forward, but Brighton I'm penciling down for 3 points as well. And Man United, I can't wait for that clash, man. That is going to be a saucy one. Do you know what I mean? It'll be one after a long time where we can really, slap them when they're down. Do you know what I mean? Like they seem to be down. We want to make sure that by the time they face us, they don't have any sort of resurgence.
Resurrection.
No resurrection here, man. Bone Thugs and Harmony. Shout out, Resurrection. What a song that was, bro. But yeah, man, I'm buzzing, man. I can't wait. For the weekend.
Yeah, we're currently on 16 points in 10th. Newcastle are on 20 points in 7th. Brighton, who we play after that in the league anyway, I know there's a cup game, but they're also in 8th on 19 points, and Man United on 21 points in 6th. It feels like, Younes, this is a great opportunity to not only, win games, but also walk the walk and actually start to catch these teams that we should be ahead of, in terms of our ambitions. I don't look at those teams and think we should be trying to finish behind any of them, really. I think Newcastle, out of all of them, maybe are the ones that, maybe command the most respect because they're in the Champions League from last year. They overachieved massively, but they've got a few injuries, I think, as well. People have been saying, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be going there and trying to get 3 points.
Bro, they haven't just got a few. They've got apparently up to 14. Like they're in the mud. So there's no excuse. On top of that, it's not even a case of like before where we were looking at Chelsea and going, yeah, okay, we're gonna hope for a win, and yeah, maybe this performance might be okay. This might not. We were all looking at Man City and going, nah, I don't think we're gonna be winning this one. When we were looking at the schedule in advance, because we were doubtful of our level. But like I said, when we played against City and we got the 4-4. That was a game changer. That was a needle mover. That showed to us, to the fan base, and to themselves, the players to themselves, and to Poch as well, that we have a level. It's there. So the doubts that we had in terms of, maybe are we just not good enough? Like, are we just down? Like, no, we do actually have what it takes in this team to get results. So now that confidence has shifted to a higher level. Whereas before we were thinking that we might go on a sort of a downward trajectory. But now you get that result. On top of that, the Tottenham game, not losing to Arsenal, when you look at the context, it could be worse. So that Man City game going after that is a case of now we understand what we can actually do. That belief is now there. We got to carry it forward. Now, we're not going to be playing the best Newcastle team. And I don't think we're going to be, even by the time we play them in the Cup, I don't think we're going to be playing the best Newcastle team. Because it seems like now with injuries, with Champions League, don't forget, they've got to go to Paris to play the Champions League after they play us. Yeah. So that's... With the limited squad that they have, again, if they had a fully fit squad, I would probably say that they're looking good to progress to the last 16 of the Champions League. But now and I'm sure that's what they want. So they're definitely going to be focusing on that, which is going to help us. So they can't manage the schedule right now. So this is why, on top of that, there isn't really much of a reason for us to not play Newcastle and not pick up 3 points. I agree with Miz here, but we have to really not get into our heads and really start looking at, we can beat these teams. We put on a performance like we did against City. We have to carry that forward now. There's no excuse. So bring the standard back to where it needs to be. Push on further, because this team clearly has the ability to go and get these wins. So I think we should be looking to win against Newcastle on the weekend. Absolutely.
This comment here was actually quite interesting. I just seen it flash up there saying this might be not okay for everyone, but what do you think about resting Enzo for this game? At most, I think he should come off the bench. Brother's fatigued. I remember the last show we were talking about his fatigue, but resting Enzo just feels very wrong.
It looked all right against Brazil the other day. I watched the game.
Yeah. I mean, that game I was very worried for him because I know they kicked the living shit out of each other in that game.
That comment itself, I think it's a topic on its own. I fear this brother could be burnt out soon. I actually fear about this because how old is he? 22, is he?
22, I think. Yeah,
I think 22.
And he had his second kid recently as well, like not that long ago.
Yeah, he's
like these
kids is crazy.
Expected kids. Well, this brother, right? this player, he's at a young age, man. He's played so much football already and has already achieved so much as well. World Cup winner, and the constant travel during international breaks to go to Argentina, and Argentinian, South American qualifiers ain't your European level of qualifiers, all right? None of these Mickey Mouse playing Malta and North Macedonia. Those brothers are fighting, bro. They're not qualifiers, man. They are not qualifiers. They are
cage matches.
That's war.
Those are wars. Yeah.
All right. Pochettino needs to sit down with Enzo. I'm not advocating for him to be rested for this match. I'm not advocating. What I'm saying is, I think a big conversation needs to be had in regards to Enzo and his well-being, his mental state, and the longevity. You don't want this player, by the time he's 24, 25, done. Like, he's played so much, and now he's on the decline. Do you know what I mean? Something needs to be managed, and as I said, so much is happening in his life as well. The human element is so important to look after. I'm concerned that we will be better manage him properly.
You know what though? When you actually look in terms of the games that he's played, I don't think he's played an excessive amount of football matches, but he is.
I've just checked because Enzo Fernandez in his career. I'm just taking a look. I think it's just club football. I think it comes up to 152 matches. But then for Saka, I just decided to do a comparison with Saka because Arsenal fans obviously often talk about Saka being burnt out and not having any rotation. He's played 249 matches in his club career. Now these do include under 20, under 18s Premier League, under 18s Premier League final and shit like that. Same for Enzo Fernandez as well. So yeah, almost 100 games, over nearly 100 games more he's played, Saka. So I know they're different positions, but both.
This is the thing. This is why, I don't think it's simply down to that, but he's clearly something is wrong. Clearly, there's something off, and he's not operating at 100%, right? And he looks fatigued. Should he be fatigued? Probably not, but he looks fatigued, so he must be. But the one thing that I can only look at is probably the birth of his kids, because it's been since that point where he's just not been normal. Maybe, look, we don't know yet. I'm just putting speculation out here. Maybe his new baby screams 24 hours a day. Night and day, no one's sleeping. Maybe he's got one of those kids, maybe. And for that, maybe
kids are tiring, Younes.
Completely disturbed.
Kids are tiring, Younes.
Exactly, it can happen. It's not easy to parent a newborn.
Saka don't have kids, does he? Does Saka have kids?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. If he does, then he's been operating early. But but maybe that is it. Maybe it's simply that, and it can simply be that. So look, we don't know, but in terms to rest him, at some point he does need, I think, 1 game out. I think 1 game out will be enough for him to be able to recover properly and then start getting back into his rhythm. I'd like to see where Lavia is, if I'm honest. Maybe Enzo starts against Newcastle when he comes off at halftime or something. Maybe we just give him reduced minutes. I don't know, but it'd be doubtful for Lavia to start unless if he's completely ready. So I don't know. And
this is why Lavia is so important. This is what the super chat's saying. Like if Lavia was fit, I'd take Enzo out like that, like no problem, because Lavia's got Premier League experience. He's more than comfortable in the first phase in terms of in possession. He's press resistant. He's fantastic. So I would have had him in there, no problem. But I think with Leslie Okachuku, I think in terms of receiving the ball under pressure, I've seen him give it away a couple of times. I'm just not sure if he quite trusted to start for Poch yet. I don't think he's quite trusted to start. I think they'll bring him on off the bench, but to start games, I don't think they're quite comfortable with that yet. And I wouldn't blame them. I don't think he's necessarily, ready to start either. But he's all we've got in that position, because I don't want to see Gallagher put back in that role. That will just F up the whole team. Like for me, Gallagher needs to stay right where he is. That's where he belongs. Don't put him back into that double pivot now and start moving pieces around, because it will mess up the balance for me. So Enzo, it's Enzo or Leslie. So unless Leslie's going to start, then it's going to have to be Enzo. But when is that game against Newcastle in the Cup? So it's not next week, it's the week after. I mean, I guess that's next when he can get his rest, isn't it?
No, that's a while away. I think it's like mid-December.
Oh, shit, it is. I don't know why I thought it was earlier. Yeah, it is. You're right. It's the 19th of December. I don't know why I thought it was earlier.
But I wouldn't rest him in that cup game. But I would like to play our best team in the cup, because it's
I do want to win that. It's, try and get into semi-finals. Then maybe it will have to be Everton away or Sheffield United. Well, Everton away will be tough. Maybe Sheffield United at home. That's the 16th of December. So
look, you see, like this Newcastle game could be a possibility, like I've said, because they've got 14 injuries or in and around that number now. So we could be able to afford to rest an Enzo for this game if they've got that many injuries and they're having to bring in, I don't know, maybe they're going to call up academy kids. Like if that's the case, we should be able to manage. I'd like to think that anyway, but
I think their injuries are going to make their bench very depleted, but I still think their starting 11 is going to be pretty first team-ish. So I don't know. I still feel like Newcastle away is just such a tough game, regardless of the injuries, because of the atmosphere and obviously their kind of spirit, regardless of what team they play. We saw against Manchester United, they played their C team and they still passed them off the park. Not to say that we're going to perform that badly. They were awful, Man United, but it just goes to show that Eddie Howe's got a system in place, regardless of who's on that pitch. They'll still be able to put together a decent performance. So two are recovering and ready to play. I think Almiron and Isak are those two players that could be back for this game. So I don't want to take them too lightly, because I feel like they're still going to put out a decent team. But I agree with Kingsley. This is why Lavia is so important. He also says the problem is South Americans will not take rest and they keep playing. Remember, Bournemouth Poch wanted to rest him and he declined. I didn't actually know that. I didn't remember that he wanted. Did he actually decline that? Do you guys remember that? I don't remember him.
I'm actually not sure.
Yeah, I didn't know about that, to be honest.
But I just to quickly add to some of the points that we've already mentioned. I see a few people in the live chat sort of dismissing this whole conversation, or like kids. I'm telling you, guys, this is when you can tell the live chat is below 15 years old, right? The majority of the age group. You guys don't understand, man. I'm telling you right now. Like,
listen to the dad.
I've got 2 kids, man. Like, I don't remember the last time I had a proper sleep. Like, it's been a while. So Enzo having to perform. I don't need to go out there and be an athlete. Like, this guy needs to be an athlete. He's got to go out there and be at the best shape for Chelsea Football Club. Then go home and be a dad as well to 2 young kids, one just recently born. You can't just dump it all to your wife. Like, you can't just be like, you look after them, I'm just going to play football. Like, he, I'm sure, wants to be a dad as well and wants to look after the kids. And there would be sleepless nights. 100% there would be sleepless nights. And he wouldn't just, as I said, dump it all on his wife. Like, he's not going to just say, oh, she's waking up middle of the night, I'm just going to have a mad sleep. He will want to wake up and help out, because or else it gets very difficult. So
or with a newborn, maybe he will have to wake up because
crying
and attention and
Bro, I'll tell you straight up. My daughter's 9 months old, right? There's not a single night that I can't hear that she's crying.
There we are.
Every single night, I hear she's just woken up. I can hear crying, right? So I don't know. Like I don't think that is ideal for someone then to go training and be at the best level and then perform during the weekend. Like, and I'm just saying this because it's important to understand what a bit of little break would do for someone like Enzo Fernandez. I think it will rejuvenate him. I think it will bring back his energy. And this constant travel to Argentina, the mileage that he's doing.
Three times in the last 3 months.
Bro, 2 games, every international break, proper wars each game. I think Uruguay, the one before Brazil, was a war as well. The Uruguayans gave it to the Argentinians. So you're jet lagged. You get smashed in your qualifiers, like because the matches are heavy. Then you got to come back, rush back, and you can't miss a game for Chelsea because you're important and repay your wages. And I'm pretty sure he wants to play as well. So the pressure's there. I think Poch somewhere along the way needs to find a couple of weeks off for this brother to say, go and enjoy with the family, go away, don't think about football, rejuvenate, and just relax, come back fresh. He just needs that. I'm worried that if he doesn't get that, even though he'll want to push on and he wants to do well, his body just won't give, like his body won't support that.
I think if Lavia was fit, I think he'd be more likely to get that. But with Lavia injured, I think the midfield is a bit on its not on its last legs, but it's a little bit thin in terms of depth. So that's probably where the issue lies. And here where we are. A lot of people in the chat, just before we move on, saying so many excuses for £100 million player. Still, he needs to perform. He needs Nanny McPhee.
I'm seeing people say, "Well, he's just getting Nanny." Trust me, it's not that simple. It's not that, and it's actually probably going to hinder a newborn baby. Just going to get a nanny and go deal with it. No, it's your kid. It's your kid who's just been born, bruv. Like, nah. Yeah, probably needs the easy way out, but no, I'm sure there's people that want to have a genuine bond, connection,
relationship with their kid.
Those moments, have a relationship, and it's important for the development of a baby to be close to both of its parents in its very early stages. Go and do some research. That's it.
Go and have a baby, bro. Go and have a baby.
I'm not even a parent, and I think yeah.
People are saying he plays once a week, palm face.
So he plays once a week, and what does he do the other 6 days? Just bat around, jizz all day or something. Like.
Well, maybe he does clearly because he's had 2 kids.
This man, it's not just about the 1 game a week. Like, there's so much preparation that goes in. People think that players just rock up for 1 game a week, and then the other 6 days they're just playing PlayStation. 6 days off.
This show feels like all you can have a baby. All of you can have a baby rather than all you can eat Chelsea.
I can tell you from loading up Football Manager and just quickly, getting a feel for the ins and outs of the game, that during the week there is a lot to do and it's very stressful. There's a lot preparation going into it. I'm already setting up the set pieces, the instructions. It's a lot. It's taking its toll on me, to be honest. I have to take a break sometimes. So I agree with you.
That's Football Manager.
Let's just say these are just excuses. I can't imagine telling me these excuses without getting laid off. Focus on my family. I don't know what's being said, but there's a lot of jumbo there. You need to structure those sentences better. Jackson just had a kid as well. So let's hope that he can handle that situation. He did.
Some people saying it's not his kid, and some people saying no, it is him.
I'm not here to do Jeremy Kyle. Do you know what I mean? Like, he said it's his kid. It's his kids. You know what I mean? I'm not here to do Jeremy Kyle or what was them other shows that used to go on? Maury. Do you know what I'm saying? Trisha.
The DNA test results show.
I must say,
Nicholas is the father.
I must say the kid don't look like him. That's for sure.
Yeah, listen. You know what I mean? Maybe the mother's got strong genes. I don't know what's going on, but that's not my business. You know what I mean? That's none of my business.
Oh man.
I'm not gonna lie. Whether you cost 100 million or 20 million, those reasons that Miz put forward are not going to change. Like you're either going to be affected by a newborn or you're not. Whether you cost 100 million or you cost 20, you're still going to be affected or you're not. You know what I mean?
Respectfully, he didn't ask for that fee either.
Yeah, he's not
That's the
sitting.
club.
He's not lying in his bed while his kid's crying at 4 a.m. He's not lying in his bed thinking, usually this would affect me, but I cost 100 million, so I'll be fine. You know what I mean? I bet he probably walks around his whole house just thinking, I cost 100 million. I can deal with anything. It doesn't work like that. It's a good question. Let's talk about transfers because there's been a lot of transfer rumors going on around the international break. Some of it garbage, some of it maybe actually relevant. But for some reason, this KK link. I mean, listen, because we're watching Osherman, I assume that yes, we're gonna see KK at the same time. I remember watching Younes' video, I think yesterday, he's saying that no one can pronounce this guy's name. Facts, I cannot, so I just say KK. But what's the problem? Keith.
Yeah,
if he was to sign, we would just call him Keith. Like that's what we did with Aspilicueta. Yeah, we would.
Kvaratskhelia.
Look at all that pronunciation, all that glitter and glamour. Look at that, too much.
Kvaratskhelia.
And he just said it off the tongue as well. Nah, it's too much.
Someone commented in my recent video saying, Younes just calls him Keith. You should just call him Keith. I'm like, Keith?
Napoli fans called him Quaradona.
Quaradona.
Yeah,
I just call him Kvara. That's easy for me. Kvara. I say Kvara.
Yeah, Matt, there's a clip on YouTube of him like telling everyone how to pronounce his name. And he made it harder. When I heard him, I was like, you made it worse, brother. I don't know what to say. So
this is why people have nicknames, bro. He needs to have a nickname, bro.
Yeah, Keith. I think Keith is a good one. But the thing is, if we sign Keith, which we can't, in my opinion, I just don't understand how you go for Keith after going for Mudryk. Like, love and guidance to Mudryk, but if I could turn back the clock, he was overpriced, and I've said it from the get-go. He should have cost what Madueke cost and what Jackson cost, because when you go above that 35 million threshold and you go into your 40s is okay, but you go into your 50s and your 60s and you're rising to potentially 88s, right? This is where you get into that threshold of you can't really buy someone else of mega finances in that same position and bench that person outrightly, because look how much you just spent, So for me, Mudryk should have always cost what Madueke cost. Then there would be no real the expectation on Mudryk wouldn't be as high as it is right now, maybe. And yeah, the pressure, and I don't think it needs to be as high as it is if that price tag is more accurate. And that will apply to maybe an Anthony at Manchester United, who's obviously awful, but he shouldn't have cost what he cost. So I think these players that should have cost this 35 million range being bumped up have not only stopped potential transfers like that, which I think that player is more gifted, way more talented than Mudryk at this current moment, and I would absolutely love to have him. Big, massive fan of him, as a lot of people would be of Leao as well, as another option that people would have spoken about. But to bring these guys in after bringing in Mudryk on that same left flank competing, when Mudryk can't play on the right flank, it's not like a Sterling where you can just alternate between the wings. He can't do that. He's a left winger. So to do that and then bring in more out and out left wingers is just not feasible for me. So the link. Listen, I don't know how concrete it is, but for me, I don't see that happening. I think we've made our bed, we must lie in it. We've chosen our left winger. Now we must develop him and nurture him, feed him, clothe him, and play him. And that's that simple as that. And speaking of front three, what's everybody looking for against Newcastle? Because Broja's back, I think. Is he ready to start? I think I've seen he is. Some people have been saying he is anyway. I think Vince on Twitter. Would you guys shake up the front line, or Jackson? He's scoring, to be fair. Probably deserves to keep playing.
This is the thing. Even considering the initial Tottenham performance, he got 3. Then the Man City performance, he scored again. You can't take that away.
No.
So he has to start.
If someone would have told you before the season that Nicholas Jackson will have 6 league goals in 11 appearances, would you have taken that?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
More than you can believe. Yep. That's what did Kai Havertz get last year? 7 in total in the Premier League.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he surpassed him.
3 or 4 were pens. 3 or 4 were pens, if I'm not wrong.
Non-penalty goals. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. If Jackson was good at, if I don't know how good he is at penalties because we haven't seen it, but if he was on penalties, taking Cole Palmer's penalties, my God, he could be on some crazy numbers right now.
Yeah, he could have been on 9 or 10 goals in 11 appearances. Unheard of as a Chelsea striker, right?
That would be funny, man. Wow, that would be so shameless.
So, yeah, I don't think so. You
would
can
be
drop a
insane.
Chelsea striker who has scored 6 goals in 11 appearances.
Nah, and to be honest,
now I think you can't. Like he's been scoring goals. Scored hat-trick against Spurs, scored a goal against a crucial goal against City, albeit fortuitous off the back of Gallagher's shot, but still needs to put away. Yeah, man, he will start, and I think Pochettino will continue with that manner, and I hope he does well. I'm a massive well-wisher of this guy. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, like. I want this guy to shine. Like I see so many people in my live chat when I'm doing watch-alongs or whatever. Is like stop banking on him. Stop having so much trust on him. What do you want me to do? Like, want him to fail? Do I want him to? Like, I'm not going to want him to fail. I want him to do well. I think overall he's got a good game about him. Obviously, he lacks aerially. That's something that he really needs to work hard on. But he has a certain game that if he starts taking things more seriously, like, if he really, really starts saying to himself that I want to showcase in the Premier League as one of the best strikers out there, like, then he can be something. So yeah, man, I hope he continues on. I hope he does well and becomes that striker that we think he can be, and the one that becomes a striker that we kind of want to have, and then the whole conversation about us wanting to buy a striker will become even more tastier, as to what happens. So yeah, man, I think he starts, bro.
No, 100%. I think the way that Sterling's also been playing, again, he walks into that team, and Palmer in that front three as well. And I think Gallagher absolutely has to start this game. These are the type of games, especially Newcastle away, where Gallagher is going to be absolutely crucial. You take a look at, for me, it doesn't matter who Newcastle play in that midfield. It's going to be a midfield of energy, a midfield of strength, a midfield of commitment. It's the Joe Lintons and the Bruno Guimarães and the Willocks and the Longstaffs and the Andersons. There's no slouches. There's no free man in that midfield. There's no free role. Everybody's going to put the work in. So 100% Gallagher's going to have to start. And especially if we're talking about Enzo being fatigued and Enzo not being quite at 100%, then who better to play than Gallagher alongside him to potentially cover off any percentages lost in his energy, in his energy level. So for me, that team is picking itself. Usually there's a big debate. I don't know if the chat disagree. Let me know in the chat if there's anybody that needs to be brought up. Madueke, I know, has been the talk of the town in the international break, in terms of what his future lies and what's going on with him, etc. But I don't think he's definitely not going to start this game for me. If he gets off the bench, he'd be happy with that, based on what's happening recently. Fabrizio, last couple of hours as well, has just kind of squashed the KK links as well, the Keith links. So there you go, if you needed that. Defense is where it gets interesting, Younes. And bro, Cucurella left back, surely, and surely we're not going back to centre backs at left back, but you never know on them set pieces. Newcastle are very threatening. I know they're missing Botman and Sarr, so it'll probably be someone else back there, but we could be outnumbered on set pieces, which is always, we was against, I think it was Arsenal, we were outnumbered on set pieces, or was it Arsenal or City? I'm not sure, but I think there was a game where I looked at it and I added up the aerial threats on each team, and then we were like 2-5. It was like 5 versus 2, so it was a little bit, it was a bit understandable why you might look at a centre back or left back. But what do you think he'll go with there?
Spurs,
that was it.
Yeah, Newcastle have big threat physically, so that's something to always watch out for, because they're always a presence. They will always, frustrate you in those tight spaces, physically dominate. We don't have the biggest squad in terms of size, so there's that. So defense, look, I think even the context of itself, we conceded 4 to Man City when you think about it. But with the defenders that we have, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. When you look at the 2 fullbacks are the 2 fullbacks, and that's just going to be it. Kukurea, Reece James. We know that is how it's going to go down. Gusto can come back now. He is an option again, as he did pick up that little small injury, which is actually okay. But the centre-back pairing is the one to debate. Now, we've had the international break. We've not had a flurry of games in order to say, oh, my God, one of the defenders are completely tired or something like that. So I think it picks itself. You can have some would debate Levi Colwill or Badiashile at the left centre-back role.
Yeah.
And that right centre-back is probably going to be Thiago Silva. So
has he been our best centre-back this season?
I think so. Hands down.
It's weird, isn't it? Because at the start of the season, he was a bit jittery. He was a bit jittery, and I was concerned for him. Because listen, when someone's of that age, no matter what level they're at, you never know when they're going to drop off. Like, it will happen to any great player. At some point, you're going to drop off. We just don't know when it's going to happen. He's not going to keep going until he's 45. He's going to drop off. But I was maybe this is the moment. You never know. Like, and are we? And the thing is, that worried me more is that if Fofana was fit, I think we'd be more ready for the drop off. But because we had Axel Disasi and Levi Colwill, and Badiashile was injured, so 2 players that have only just come into the team for the first team squad over the summer, no experience playing together, no experience playing for Chelsea first team, and potentially Silva's not at the level that we need him to be at. You've got a little bit of a problem there, but thankfully he's back. Do you know what I mean? And he's back to playing at the level again. So now we can rest easy. But I think they've all been pretty good, but I do feel like he's the one that's holding it together.
On top of that, we got to remember, we thought Disasi would probably put in a stinker against Man City, and we were a bit concerned. Then he played brilliant.
He has been underrated. He has been quite underrated.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. There was mistakes against City. That's 100%. That's why in my ratings I gave him a lot lower score, even though he scored, because maybe because they 2 of the goals he could have been better. So yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, Disasi as well, threat on set pieces. To be fair, if you want aerial dominance, Disasi and Badiashile are the 2 where it's just like no one.
Because they're 1 meter 94. They're both almost 2 meters tall. It's ridiculous. Badiashile is taller than Disasi as well, which is mad. So
yeah, I think what some people underrate about Silva is you got to give some weight and value to the experience. You really do. Yeah. When you look at this entire team, people I keep consistently banging on about the human element, the other intangibles. It's not just about having the best lineup. Have your Badiashile, have your Disasi, have in paper or in Football Manager or in FIFA, whatever you're playing, it may look great, but in reality, because we live in the reality, you cannot disregard experience. You may think that Disasi and Badiashile, yes, they worked really well for Monaco, that they can just simply translate that in the Premier League seamlessly. It may not happen that way. Pochettino probably notices this. There's a reason why Poch has been favoring Thiago Silva. And I get it. Thiago Silva's not been flawless. 100% he's not been flawless, just like all the other defenders as well. But the importance of Thiago Silva is the fact that he brings that experience, that know-how. Do you know what I mean? Like, some of these players at certain times in the match, they look at Thiago Silva and they go, you know what? I feel calm. I've got someone who I know has done it in the highest levels. So I feel comfortable. When you have a bunch of players that have not done it at the highest level and they're looking at each other for some sort of comfort, brother, it's difficult. It's difficult. They may have the talent, but sometimes that talent, as I said, the human side, it just doesn't click in because there are other factors that we need to understand. So this is why I've been harping on about that. This team needs to have Thiago Silva still for not just this season. Obviously, he's got his contract for this season, but I truly believe he needs to stick around for one more season if Thiago Silva wants to. And by saying this, I'm not advocating that Thiago Silva needs to play every single game. The brother is too old. He won't be able to play every single game. But he needs to play some games. He needs to. Even when we had Champions League last season, he didn't play every single game. He had played one game, missed the other one, played one game. Sometimes in key matches, he played regularly. But we need to have this brother around. We just do. We're not ready as a unit yet to let go of him and just, let the youngsters just go on like that. We've recently seen Reece James. I think Reece James put up some comments a couple of days ago saying how important Thiago Silva is. Like, he talks to Thiago Silva. He goes and gets feedback from him. Where's Reece James meant to get feedback if, say, for example, your Thiago Silva is not there or Sterling's not there? Is he going to go to, I don't know, Conor Gallagher, for instance, for feedback? Or is he going to go to Cucurella for feedback? Is he going to go to Cole Palmer for feedback? Do you understand that other element? This brother, this is why you need the experience, man. It's very important.
I agree with you. I understand you. People want to drop Caicedo for Lavia when he comes back. I don't know where that's coming from, but I completely disagree. And Caicedo playing in Gallagher's role is just... Gallagher's not playing the role that Caicedo would be playing in that position, in my opinion. Like, I wouldn't be using Caicedo as a second presser off the ball, crashing into the box and making final third passes. Like, I wouldn't be using him in that 10. So no, for me, our shape would have to change. We'd have to be playing a 4-3-3 because I don't want Caicedo as far forward as Gallagher is. It's two different players completely. So nah, for me, that doesn't work. You're losing all of the important traits that Caicedo is meant to be bringing. Do you know what? People are going to... There's a danger of playing our midfield backwards like we did before, which is putting your tacklers and your interceptors and your destroyers high up the pitch and leaving your creative, passers and your Enzo type profiles behind them. I don't want to go to those days. Really don't want to go to those days. We did this with Jorginho and we had Kante ahead of him, and Kante used to get into the final third and blaze shots over the bar and not make the final third passes as he needs to. And Jorginho used to get exposed in transition and not be able to keep up with the play. I just want the midfielders to just play where they need to play to impact the game the most. That's where they need to be. So for me, Caicedo is a defensive-minded midfielder. Yes, if Lavia plays with him, he'll be able to get forward sometimes and break sometimes. But to actually play him where Gallagher's playing is a no for me. Like, he needs to be part of the defensive midfield. There's no point bringing him in for 100 and whatever million it was to protect our backline and then to say, oh, we don't need you to protect it anymore. We're going to push you forward. Like, his skills is not his best skills are not, in the final third. That's not where he excels. I know he scored that screamer against Tottenham, but that was like, he'll do that maybe once or twice a season. It's not his thing. Off topic, this summer I would sell Chilwell. I mean, listen, it's probably too early to have that convo, but yeah, something's going to give in that left back position, but it will probably be Maatsen in January. To be honest, I think Maatsen is the one that's definitely going in January. So we'll be back down to 2 left backs again, and then we go from there. But yeah, I mean, Chilwell just got made vice captain, so I wouldn't really be looking too heavily into selling him at this current moment. I think you'd have to wait till the season's over, see if he recovers from injuries. But yeah, listen. We're not going to go on past the hour mark. So keep your questions coming in if you want to ask people, because like I said, I don't want to do just purely transfers. I don't think anything else has really happened, boys, is there? Oh, the centre back as well. But the Badia Shield link is just foolishness, man. What's that all about? Really? Badia Shield to AC Milan?
And Malang Sarr with him as well. Yeah,
he can go. That's no problem. That's not a problem. I didn't even mention that part because I don't even want to speak too loudly in case they change their mind. Like, let's go. Do you know what I mean? Pack your bags.
No, but to be fair, from AC Milan's perspective, I can see why they would want him.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, if there's interest and they're going to attempt, fair enough. I would. So, but that doesn't mean sell. He's not going anywhere. So AC Milan, you're wasting your time.
The only centre-backs that I see are available for AC Milan, if they can afford them, because you never know of Italian football, is Malang Sarr and Trevor Chalobah. Take your pick. Or take both, because Trevor Chalobah... I mean, actually, Trevor Chalobah's had a setback, isn't it? So he's injured again.
He has, yeah.
So he's not back until, I think, the end of January.
End of Jan.
Oh.
But he needs to find out.
He's going to have to be out for 6 months by the time... he comes back.
That's just mad about Chalobah. Like, he's just, I don't know what he's doing to just keep getting these setbacks after setbacks after setbacks. But in regards to Badiashile, all I'll say is that, firstly, I don't think it's going to happen either. Like, I think Chelsea do value him. But if you think logistically, you've got Levi Colwill, who I don't think is going to play as left back any longer. I think it's quite evident now that he's not a left back. I know the experiment we continued doing that, but I think it's quite evident he's not a left back. So Levi Colwill will come back into the centre back conversation. So you got Levi Colwill, you got Thiago Silva. I'm purely talking about this season before everyone gets quite mad in the live chat. I'm just talking about this season, one game a week, right?
Yeah.
So you got Thiago Silva, Levi Colwill, Axel Desassi. So you got three defenders. Fofana's injured.
He's injured.
He's not. And you got Badiashile. So you got four defenders. Is Badiashile the kind of individual who would one game a week would just be like, I'll wait for my opportunity, or is he going to be someone who's going to feel I need to play? Like, you need to play me immediately.
I think he should be patient, considering he's only just arrived in January and he's at a massive club. He's made a massive step up. So from Monaco, I don't see him being impatient, especially when we should be in Europe next year, which means the games should go up. So anyone who's on the fringes now, I take it a bit of a pinch of salt, because we know Pochettino's not going to just rotate like Pep, because we don't play twice a week, we play once. If our team are playing well, naturally you want to play the same players, which means minutes are going to be scarce for the ones that are on the bench. And you're only going to bring players off the bench if that time requires their involvement. You don't just bring players on just to bring them on, because otherwise you can end up throwing the game. And the games are not exactly 3, 4, 5-0. We haven't had one game, I don't think, this season where we blitzed the team comfortably. Everything's pretty tight-knit in terms of results. Obviously Tottenham, but that took 78th minute to get the second goal. So that wasn't even a blitz in terms of, the whole game. So when you've got tight games, points mean everything, because we can say that everybody needs to get minutes. And then if everybody starts getting minutes and we're not winning games, then there's going to be another problem. And the fan base is going to have another problem, which is sack Poch. So we are prioritizing results. It's quite obvious, right? So let's remember that. So the substitutions need to impact the game. They need to be sensible. They need to make sense. In-game management, they need to have an impact. And that means sometimes Madueke coming on is not going to make sense, especially if you need runners tracked and defensive contribution for the fullbacks if you're holding the lead. So you don't come on. The centre backs, maybe we're having a great performance with the defense and we don't need anybody else to come on, so they're not going to come on. So we can't have everything. And when it comes down to this one game a week thing, this is why he wanted the squad trimmed. Now we've got so many injuries that, to be honest, we seem to have the perfect size squad. But I think a lot of these players are just going to have to be patient and wait for European football, because this is not the norm. We shouldn't be playing once a week. This is hopefully the only time this will happen in the next 10 years.
I think the best part about this December period is there will be a lot more games. So it might not just be one game a week. Sometimes there might be the 2 Premier League games, throw in the Carabao Cup. I don't know when FA Cup starts. I think starts, January-ish?
Yeah.
So soon it may not just be the one game. So players like Badiashile will get opportunities, of course, to warrant a start. And then you never know, man, what's going to happen in this heavy fixture. What are the new injuries that's going to materialize?
Yeah,
you know
bro.
I mean?
We're playing on Christmas Eve, bro. Like, there's so many games. So it's
players calling in sick that day or something. Are they going to call in sick?
I think it's Poch's anniversary as well, didn't he say?
We've got 8 games in December, right?
Yeah, so we're going to have 2 games a week. So there you go.
There you go.
Loads of
2 games a week.
Yeah,
loads of games. So we need, but I understand how this journalistic world works, because they look at logistically, where can I write an article?
Where's a weak point in the squad?
Where's a weak point? Right, if I was a journalist, I'm assessing every team and who's not playing, and where's the surplus, and I'm writing an article about that player.
Yeah,
that player might not even be rumored to go. I'm making up a rumor. I'm saying they're going to Frankfurt. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just making up stuff.
Badiashile's been injured for so long. He's been slowly integrated. Suddenly now there's a move away. Like, how does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? So for me, there's nothing to that story. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. I think the reports say he's part of the project. So, but Do we need a centre back? For me, I don't think so. I mean, I know Silva could leave, but that's 50-50. You have Fofana who's returning from injury next year. How does he recover? That's 50-50. So that's two 50-50 centre backs. Chalobah and Sarr are gone, and then you've got Badiashile, Disasi, and Levi Colwill. So you've got 5 centre backs, right?
Yeah,
in terms of first team centre backs that we're happy to have, excluding Chalobah and Sarr. 2 of those 5 are 50-50s. And then may I introduce a certain Humphreys who's smashing it and was very good in the preseason and played left side centre back and right side centre back. Looks to be both footed. And I'm more than happy to have him as the 4th choice or the 5th choice. So
Yes.
the likelihood of both the 50-50s either not recovering and being needed to be sold. First of all, Fofana's on like a death row contract. He's on like a 9-year contract, so he's not going anywhere. So Fofana has to recover, right?
Don't
go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. So Fofana has to recover. Right. So Fofana has to recover. And Silva, he could stay, he could not. So we could end up potentially having 6 centre backs here. Or 5 or 4. But if we're playing a back 4 with 2 centre backs, then 4 to 6 is, I mean, we don't need more than 4 or 5 in my opinion. I think 5 is an absolute, that's where you cap it off really. So I think we're fine at centre back unless they're bringing in experience. If they're bringing in experience, they could say we lack it. But something tells me they're bringing in another young centre back if they're looking for one, which means for me, I'm out. We don't need that. I need to see Humphreys, man. I think Humphreys is good.
Who knows, man? Maybe Chelsea's preempting for the future if they get a transfer ban or not with all of these accusations, and Chelsea just want to have their own little shop.
They're good.
They want to have their own little shop ready. Do you know what I mean? With all the players, and then farm them out to Strasbourg and whoever else they want to send it to, because the 7 teams blocked that particular move of stopping, associated teams to have loan moves like Chelsea to Strasbourg and so on and so forth. So
yeah,
look, it doesn't make sense to me, but maybe they know more. Of course, they know more than us. They're preparing for something. That's what I can say.
Some sort of storm. When you just like there's a report and there's going to be a storm or there's going to be an earthquake or something, and everybody just goes to the nearest shop and starts buying up all the tinned food and all the rice and everything, and just toilet paper. Toilet paper is a massive one. Whenever something's about to go down in the UK, if there's anything in the UK going on,
really?
Australia as well, yeah?
Yeah, same here in Australia.
Anything about to happen, everybody has to get toilet paper. It's for some reason now you're going to ship more often, and you're going to need more toilet paper than you've ever needed before. Like if you don't have all the toilet paper, there's people pushing old ladies for toilet paper. Seriously,
there's a black market for toilet paper.
Oh my god!
During
So
COVID period, there was black market for it.
Sign-ins are our toilet paper. I don't know what's happening, but we need it apparently. So yeah, that's what's gonna go down. So yeah, you're saying 2 left footers. I'm even gonna give you 3 left footers because Humphreys looks both footed and then 3 right footers. So yeah, loads of centre backs. Have you thought about posting your watch along highlights? Think it would be great for the channel. Much love. To be honest, I have thought about it, but there's other channels that clip up all of the watch along highlights and throw them out there before I'd even get my hands on my own. To be honest, they're taking the timestamps of me while I'm watching the game and then compiling it whilst I'm talking about the game at the end and then putting it up as I'm recording my review. So yeah, I could do but again, by the time they come out, I feel like everybody would have just gone and found their, the timers on the screen. It doesn't really take that long to go to each point. When the goals were scored, the timer's on the screen. Where I'm gonna start cussing or celebrating. You're gonna find it regardless before I put it up, in my opinion. But yeah, so for me, I feel like I could just create original content in that time. But yeah, that's on that. So we're gonna come to a close, people. I don't think we've missed anything, to be honest.
Newcastle slow block.
Are they gonna play a low block? That's the thing.
I'm worried about that.
They're at home, so they might just come out a little bit and force the issue a bit.
They need points as well, don't they?
Yeah, for sure they need points. 100%. They're not comfortable. I think they're sitting in 7th or something, aren't they? 6th or 7th, I think it is.
Newcastle fans will tell you themselves, like,
Yeah, I'm actually chatting to Matty later, so I'll be able to answer.
Yeah, ask, because I've heard a lot of them go like, no, there's a slight misconception in Newcastle that, you know, people look at us like we just sit back and do nothing and we wait, and that's actually not the case. But that's not to dismiss. Defensively, they are strong. That's their strongest point, as far as I'm concerned, is them defensively. That doesn't mean they're going to sit back in a low block, but I don't think they're going to be sitting as low as what some people anticipate them to do. But they're not an easy defense to get past. That's just the reality. Now, with these injuries and whatnot, maybe we find an easier way through. But they'll definitely give it a go. They won't sit back at home and just do nothing all day. Like,
honestly, from the matches I've seen of Newcastle since the new ownership, since Eddie has taken over, I don't recall them sitting back. If anything, I actually recall them pressing.
They have,
like
aggressively.
They have, but it's been away from home. Like at the Emirates, at the Etihad, at San Siro. This is where they absolutely parked it, and I mean parked it, nasty parks, like to the point where I almost ended the watch along because it was awful. Like it was prime parking. Who's
the Arsenal game specifically was
Simeone? Like just think of Allegri. I don't know. Think of the most.
Conte
nasty
against Manchester City.
Shithousery. Yeah, proper nasty shit, bro. It was mad. The dark arts of football is what they were doing. But
yeah, the ones that I've seen where I've seen Newcastle press really well, really high, and wanting to win the ball high up. I don't think they're gonna look. I've recently seen a little bit of disrespect from Newcastle, which I'm not very fond of, and we will come to that down the track for the preview. Newcastle fans,
or about?
No, the disrespect coming from them towards us. Like they don't. They don't seem to give us any.
Really?
They think we're not class anymore. We're nobody. Like, and I'm thinking, Newcastle, you just came into the big boys conversation like yesterday. And you're acting like you own the class already. Like, know your place, like as the Rock would say.
Shit.
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Fresh Brighton, yeah.
You're right, Matisse. They're moving a little bit like Brighton, where they feel like new, fresh, new money, and they think they're superstars. Brother, we've done it. We've seen it all. You're not bringing nothing new to the plate. So. Look, I'm not like that though. I understand.
I will say Newcastle are bigger than Brighton though. Let's be real.
Yes, of course. I'm not like that. I don't want to disrespect Newcastle. I see what they're trying to build, and they're building something good. But I do get the feeling they don't respect us anymore. So I'm not sure about this low block thing. I think they're going to try and get to us, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want.
Facts.
Don't give us too much respect. Yeah, come at us so we can get back at you, and then hopefully live with the 3 points, and then you can have the tail between your legs. Do you know what I mean?
Should we all in our previews just like give us a false image? We'll just give off that false image that we're very open in midfield. Our defense are a little shaky. If you come down the middle, there's a big avenue for you to take possible opportunity from. If we just all do that, they might listen and just come at us.
I think regardless,
I think I'll just say we're 10th, and that should do the trick, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I saw how the Newcastle fan Matty moved on Matisse on the Big Six, especially when they were talking about the preview of the Man City, and Matisse was humble, and everyone was very, very cautious about that match, except for the one Newcastle fan. He's like, "Am I in the right show here? Wow. Are we talking about Chelsea?" And I'm thinking, where's this coming from? Newcastle, you just got smacked by Borussia Dortmund. Back to back, brother. Do you know what I mean?
And then they lost to Bournemouth, wasn't it? Or did they draw?
Yeah, they lost to Bournemouth. Yeah,
2-0. I tell you,
but this is unfortunately why we need to beat these teams, and we need to get ahead of them. We need to get ahead of Manchester United. We need to get ahead of Brighton and Newcastle. 100%. These three teams in particular, right? This is where the recent beefs have been. Man United fans who are playing their teams playing like trash, but for some reason they're winning games. That can't be tolerated. That can't go on. That must end. Brighton, we already know the situation there, and Newcastle now. We just have to get ahead of these teams, and we need to clear them. That's the only way. That's the only way to stop this. They don't talk like this to Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. Do you know why? Because they're performing. We're 10th. We need to move. We have to get a move on.
And the other thing, like these new, not new teams, like these teams with new money, just you've not seen money in your life, and now you've seen it, and you feel like you're in the world.
Do you know what's mad? This is exactly how Man United and Arsenal fans were definitely talking to us in 2005. 100%.
I understand, though. I understand. I get it. I understand that.
Who are these? Can you imagine Miz on a live show when we got that money in from Roman and we won our first title, and then maybe we won our second title? Oh my God!
I'll lose my mind.
Disrespect you be throwing.
We were hating
the establishment. Oh my God!
We were.
Do you know what, Matisse? we've now got a good
catalog.
Yeah, catalog.
And to be fair,
we've now built a catalog.
I always want to say, to be fair, before Roman came in, we were still better than Newcastle are before their takeover, before Man City are before their takeover, and obviously Brighton doesn't come into this, but we were finishing in the top 4. We were knocking big teams out the Champions League. We were winning cups. We just weren't winning league titles and winning Champions Leagues, but we were still in and around it. We finished second behind Arsenal, wasn't it? Right? We were doing shit. So relax with that pre-Roman slander, people, because there's still some
if we're being real, we were playing better back then than we are now.
100%. 100%.
See, at least we were doing something relevant. I don't know. You guys correct me, because I wasn't following Premier League in the early 90s or mid 90s, right? Was Newcastle like a powerhouse in the Premier League at that point?
You know what? They were in the same bracket as us, I would say, to an extent. Like, they would qualify to the Champions League. They would have good players. They'd put on a shock result. They would do well. They were, in the times when they had what was it? Newcastle Brown Ale as their sponsor, and Alan Shearer scoring goals, doing that every single week. Like that was when Newcastle were fairly respected.
Did they win stuff like FA Cups, or did they?
No, that's the thing. They were respected and they were in the conversation, but they never won anything. They'd come close, but they would never win anything. They haven't won anything since, I think it's in the chat, 1955.
So where's this arrogance all of a sudden? It's just the new money.
Just new money.
Like now they've just lost their mind. This new money, bro. It's haram, bro. It's haram.
New money with social media.
Yeah, true.
But listen, there's only one way to put this right, and that's to beat them twice in the next 2 fixtures. Once in the cup and once in the league. We had Brighton in the cup. We beat them. We need to beat them in the league. Just, early doors, start smoking teams. But let's wrap up, because I now have to go on DR and defend this club. I don't know what allegations I'm going to be walking into. I don't know what allegations I'm going to be walking into today. I'm sure we've paid somebody somewhere or something. I don't know. It's nice to see Jermaine Defoe getting involved now as well.
Do you know what though? I think we will get done. I think we will.
I've got a feeling as well. I'm not going to lie. I think. We're not escaping this.
But all I'm going to say, no, because let's be honest, man. You think Roman did things the right way? That's right.
Bro, he was going to go and kill someone for Mikel.
Mikel came out and said that he voluntarily asked if he wants to go and rescue, to send him guys to go and rescue his dad.
Roman was excited at the thought of potentially getting to kill someone that day. Like, he was actually he was
relishing the moment.
Bro, you say the word and I'll go.
I've not killed someone for a while. Let me at him.
I spent a while since I played Mafia games. That's what it is.
I've always said during Roman time, under the table. Look, but I do want to say one thing. Not a single Premier League club is doing anything by the books. Not a single Premier League club. So my point is, why just go after Chelsea? Is it because, it will get you the clicks. It will get you the attention. The TV shows and everything will be buzzing. Check every single Premier League club. Everyone is paying something under the table. Everyone is. Everyone. So don't just stop at Chelsea. Go everyone. I do think something will happen to us. I hope it's nothing too damaging, but I do believe something will happen to us. It probably might be points deduction next season. It might not be this season. Next season. But
imagine in the Championship, the watch-alongs, they'll be fire,
Nah, I don't think we can get.
Oh
I
my
don't think
God.
we'll get relegated like that type of stuff. Probably heavy points down. But if we get that, which I think we will, I think every Premier League club will ensure Man City gets relegated for sure. Because 115 charges, brother, you're finished. You're finished. You're finished. You're finished. You're finished. Wallahi, you're finished.
But they're not gonna get the Premier League. They'll never relegate Man City, man. They just won't. It's not for their own sake. They won't do it.
But how do you think Everton's gonna feel, Younes, bro? Like
The Premier League won't care how Everton feel.
Nah, wait till you take it to the court.
This is what they're going to say to
What's
Everton.
gonna happen.
This is what they're going to say to Everton. Let's be honest, guys. You wasn't going to achieve anything anyway. All right. So,
Man City, however.
Do you think Liverpool is just going to sit there and watch Man City get away with all of this? But I'm telling you,
they will.
A lot of Premier League clubs will ensure Man City get hurt. They will. I understand the interest of the Premier League, but 115 charges? No. And if we get points deduction and they get nothing, no way.
No, not to say they won't get anything. They will get something. They might get something worse than us, I reckon. And maybe definitely worse than Everton, but not relegation. And they might get points and a heavy, heavy financial fine.
Get just enough.
So let's say 50. Let's say 50 points.
Enough points for their season to be in tatters. Like there is no European football after that.
Okay,
like,
say this.
Maybe they'll miss out on Europe.
Say they get 80 points for the season, minus 50.
No, they're not going to get a 50-point deduction.
Why not?
Because it's Man City.
Well, they should.
I agree, they should, right?
Then
but
we should rally. Then we should rally.
The Premier League will go. Look, Tottenham.
See, that's the corruption itself.
It turns out Tottenham were doing a madness before any of us. Yeah, 2008 they were doing what they were doing with Portsmouth, and the FA just went. We didn't see anything. Go, do you. Like, so it goes to show they will do whatever they feel like they need to do just to protect themselves. But I will say, I've got a little theory. And I don't, this might not happen at all, right? But I'm concerned that all of these clubs, all of a sudden, getting pointed out for, they've done this club's done that, this club's done that. Could this lead to the Super League? Could this lead to?
But that is the future.
There's a case for the Super League. Maybe this is part of the reason.
I'm telling you, that's the future. Because our owners came in thinking we're in the Champions League every season, regardless. Our owners didn't know there was a top four.
Life changed for them quick.
Life changed for them very quickly when they bought.
This is why before you buy, you must try.
A couple of months ago, there was an article on Athletic that UK government had discussed this Man City issue with the embassy in Abu Dhabi, right? So they don't want to disclose what was discussed. It's in the article, by the way. I'm not saying it by my own. Because it could harm the trade relationship between UAE and UK. So what's a football club for UK then, if it harms their trade relationship in the bigger picture? So they would let Man City get away with anything.
Yeah. And this is
if it harms the country economically. So there is a lot of things going on behind the scenes. We have to talk about that as well.
And the Premier League done the same thing with the Saudis.
Yes.
For Newcastle.
Yes. Yeah. And this is why I'll be so upset if Chelsea get done. And looks like Chelsea probably will cop some sort of a points deduction. And I don't think
life. That's life.
But see, that's where, you know, all of this needs to be, like, someone needs to rally and other Premier League clubs. Like, for instance, just to put some context, I think Everton, right? Everton got 10 points deduction for Premier League sustainability, profitable sustainability rule. For the financial fair play. So 3 years in a row, they copped losses. And then you got the financial
and they went
fair
over
play.
105.
Yeah, they went over 105 million, right? 105 million, yeah? And they got 10 points. But if Man City, with the 115 charges, which has fake sponsorships, which has a whole heap of different bonus payments to Pep Guardiola under the table, this, that, the other, these are far more sinister because all of that would have put them into massive financial stress.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like they wouldn't.
They just wouldn't be able to operate the way that they have as well. If they,
Exactly.
yeah.
They wouldn't be able to balance their books if all of those things that they did were within, like they actually put it into their accounting books. So for me, bro, like I get it. I hear what Bubba's saying and I hear what Younes is saying. I think they'll get away with it because there's a far bigger issue behind the scenes where we don't want to affect the relationship between UAE and so
I don't remember the club. You guys might remember in the 2000s, they were also given a point deduction because they had irregularities of just 2 million.
there you go. There you go.
What was that club? I don't remember.
I
the
don't
name.
actually remember the club, but I do remember
Just because they had irregularity of 2 million, like the books did not match, and the difference was only 2 million pounds. They were given a point deduction. Who was that club?
Is that in England?
Yeah, it was in England. Was it a Premier League or a Championship club? I can't recall. Chat if anyone remembers, please. Leeds, was it Leeds?
Yeah, not that long ago, I think it was Leeds or was it another club that couldn't pay wages for a few months, and they got deducted points as well.
Was it Portsmouth?
Was it Derby County? Was it Derby County?
Yeah, it was. It was Derby County. Yeah, it was. Derby.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah, it was Derby County.
There you are. Well, we'll see what happens. Regardless, we will be there. If we're in the championship, we will be there. Worst comes to worst. I don't think that will happen, but even if it did, I think I'd get it over. I'd get over it in about a week anyway. I'll just start enjoying the games against Preston and Millwall and them teams there. Do you know what I mean?
I would be gassed to play Millwall. I've been waiting for this game, right?
It's a journey, bro.
It needs to happen. Since '95, we've not played against Millwall. We need to get Chelsea versus Millwall. Like, we just have to. It's part of the culture.
Why can't they do that as a preseason game? They would line that
because
up.
unless somebody's going to fly Millwall out to America, then that's not going to happen because we all know we ain't going to any other country ever again. So there you are. Yeah. All right, we're going to wrap up. My Uber's chilling outside. Miz, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man, it's been a fantastic show. The other side of the coin, subscribe. And yeah, everything will be back to normal very, very soon with the Premier League starting back again. And it's going to be wild. Now it's going to be wild because matches thick and fast until next international break. So yeah, join in.
There you are. Links in the description. Younes, let the people know, brother. Let them know where to find you. Pleasure.
Absolutely, man. Good one today. And bring back Premier League football finally. And we'll see how it all goes. I'll give my thoughts. Preview dropping for Newcastle, Chelsea tomorrow. Younes Talks Football. And let's see how we do.
There you are. Yep. And Baba, Beckham's brother. Beckham's best friend.
Oh, yeah. Congrats.
What a moment. Let the people know where to find you, bro.
And Beck.
Thank you, man. It was a good moment, right? Like, not every day you get to shake hands with David Beckham. And you get to ask him when is Inter Miami playing a friendly in India. So he was like, I'll try to arrange that so we could see Messi playing in India. But yeah, same as always, Drogbaba. Do make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram as well. We've hit 100K on Instagram, so thank you so much for everyone's support. And let's hope that we beat Newcastle and it could do some repair work for my broken heart. The World Cup loss.
Oh, shit. Damn. Well, as someone who does nothing know about sports, there's always next year, Baba.
4 years, bro. World Cup.
You know when your girl's trying to comfort you and you just lost the World Cup final? Don't worry, there's always next year. You fucking idiot. In a bit, people. Peace.